Okay, so yesterday you have seen some of the basic concepts. That is, you have seen what is domestic income, domestic territory. What is domestic territory that you have seen, and the meaning of normal residence you have seen, and you have also seen how to classify when the list of items are given. Then how to classify domestic territory and how to find out domestic territory, and you know what is not domestic inside the domestic territory, and that classification also you have seen. That domestic territory is also known as domestic territory is also known as speak. Don't know. Domestic territory is also known as
Economic territory.
इकोनॉमिक टेरिटरी. ये भी देखा था. नॉर्मल रेसिडेंस देखा था, उसका कंडीशंस देखा था. Is excluded, what is included and what is not included in the normal residence, that also you have seen. And there also you have seen how to classify normal residents and non residents, or those non residents, that also you have seen. And bit more portion you will see in the basic concepts. After that we will move to the next lesson. Okay, so next we will see, you have seen what is normal residence. Normal residence you have seen. Who is a normal resident? Who is a normal resident? We have studied yesterday. One of you speak. Who is a normal resident? What is the condition to be fulfilled to be a normal resident? बोलो, जिसको आता है बोलो. सबको आना चाहिए पढ़ने के बाद. Who is a normal resident? Anjali, who is a normal resident? Anjali, are you there in the meet? I have seen you, that's why I called you.
Yes,
Who is a
ma'am.
normal? Who is a normal resident? Anybody else? Voluntarily? I have called Anjali. Okay, Anjali, you speak. Who is a normal resident? What are the two conditions to be fulfilled to be a normal resident? Don't know. You don't know, Anjali? What about Anurag? Who is a normal resident? Anurag? Who is a normal resident? Karthik? Karthik, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, normal resident means a person who lives within a country, ma'am.
Yeah, ordinarily reside in the country, and we have added one more condition to it. And whose center of economic interest?
Interest. Yes, ma'am.
Center of economic interest also lies in the country. इतना बोलने में इतनी देर लगा रहे हो, huh? So normal residents of a country who is ordinarily resides in the country, and his center of economic interest also lies in the country. This ordinary resides in the country for continuously for 1 year, and his economic interest also lies in that country, means he earns from there, he spent normally, he economic activities of earning in that country, spends also in that country. Okay, he accumulates wealth or spending and accumulation from that location itself, then it is not to be a normal resident. So we have to see the next topic, that is citizenship versus residentship. What is citizenship? Citizenship versus residentship. Citizenship means it is basically a legal concept. Citizenship is a legal concept based on the place of birth. Indian citizen is a legal concept based on the place of birth. Okay, because we are born in India, we are Indian citizen. So it's a legal concept based on the place of birth of the person. So whenever you hear the word citizenship, you just understand it is based on the place of birth of the person. और अगर place of birth वहाँ नहीं है, it is on the basis of some legal provisions allowing a person to become a citizen legally, according to some rules and laws. Legally, you can get American citizenship. I mean, if you undergo some legal provision. So no, generally it is a legal concept which is based on the place of birth. Suppose place of birth is not there, if some legal provision also allow a person to become a citizen. That means citizenship can be in two ways. One, when a person is born in that place, he get the automatic citizenship in that place. Suppose a person born in India, he is automatically a citizen of India. So there is one condition. And the next condition, a person outside India, and another person who does not belong to a particular country can apply the citizenship of another country. And law, if according to there are some legal provisions, law, rules and regulations are there. So according to those law allow him to become a citizen. So a Japanese can become an Indian citizen if he undergoes some legal provisions. That means to get citizenship, there are two conditions. The first condition is when a person is born, suppose take in India. So when a person is born in India, he is an Indian citizen automatically. Then a person from Japan or a person from outside can apply for citizenship in India. That is being allowed according to some legal provision. So two conditions. Actually, it's a legal concept according to some provision. If the law allows, if the rules and regulations, according to the rules and regulation, another person, a person belong to another country can also be given the citizenship.
Ma'am?
Yes.
Ma'am, a foreign couple visit to India and ma'am, they give birth to a child. So ma'am, that child is an Indian citizen or foreign citizen?
Foreign citizen, legal provision कहाँ किया हम लोगों ने, कहाँ अप्लाई किया, कहाँ पे legal provision हम लोगों ने accept की, गवर्नमेंट अप्लाई किया. Place of birth that doesn't mean उसके लिए provisionally और document होना चाहिए. Place of birth doesn't means वहाँ पर okay. अगर Indian going to America to a relative and give birth to a child, that doesn't mean place of birth वहाँ पर हो गया. Place of birth and Indian के लिए होता है if place of birth. Place of birth अगर यहाँ पर proof में आ गया वहाँ पर has given birth to a child, that doesn't mean that child will get the citizenship. Has to apply for it. Indian के लिए तो सही. Okay, Siddharth?
Yes, ma'am.
Then the next, that is citizenship. So you just understand two conditions, place of birth. Then the next is he can apply for the citizenship and the law allows him, he can become a citizen. Law allows him means there are legal provisions. Okay. Then what is residentship? Citizenship is different from residentship. It is actually an economic concept. That's why I said in the previous citizenship, I said it's a legal concept. But residentship is an economic concept based on the economic activities performed by the person. So why residentship is known as an economic concept? Residentship is economic concept because it is considered, residentship is decided on the basis of the economic activities performed by a person. So, if an individual is a normal resident of a country, if he ordinarily resides in the country for a period of more than 1 year, and his center of economic interest also lies in that country. So, individual का मतलब एक firm भी हो सकता है. So, इंडिया में आके एक साल से ज़्यादा यहाँ पर economic interest lies in this country. That means he's earned he's earning from this country, his economic activities performed in this country, and everything is carried on here itself for more than 1 year, he will get the residentship. It is not citizenship. It is different. So residentship is based on the economic activities performed by a person. That's why residentship is known as an economic concept, but citizenship is a legal concept. So residentship is decided on the basis of the economic activity. If he continues or he carries out his economic activity for a period of more than 1 year in a particular country, he is treated as a resident. Okay, that is known as residentship. So residentship is an economic concept based on economic activities performed by a person. So an individual is a normal resident of a country if he ordinarily resides in the country for a period of, for a period of
more than 1 year.
more than 1 year. बाकी सब हो गए क्या? An individual is a normal resident of a country. Resident है, मैंने citizen नहीं बोला. हमने जो पहले पढ़ा है वो भी normal resident था. An individual is a normal resident of the country. Whoever it is, American हो सकता है, Japan हो सकता है, कोई भी country का आदमी हो, he is considered as a normal resident of the country if he resides in the country for more than 1 year and his center of economic interest also lies in that country. He is treated as a normal resident. Okay, he is treated as a normal resident in that case. He's carrying out his economic activity here and he is staying here for more than 1 period and carries out economic activity for more than 1 year. And his economic interest also lies in the country. That is known as a residentship. Suppose, for example, a Japanese living in India for more than 1 year is a normal resident of India and he carries out his activity also here. But he's not a citizen. He can be a resident, but he's not a citizen. He's not an Indian national. Okay? He's not a citizen, but he is treated as a citizen. That is citizenship he has got. It means a person can be a citizen of the country, at the same time a resident of another country. A person can be, I repeat the statement, a person can be citizen of one country and the same time a resident of another country. कितने इंडियन सिटीजन्स है जो फॉरेन कंट्रीज में जाके काम करते हैं? यूएसए हो गया, कनाडा हो गया, ऑस्ट्रेलिया हो गया, they all are Indian citizen, but they have the residentship in other country because they are from that country. So I mean, they can get the citizenship also according to law. So many Indians are there getting citizenship from another country. So if you, I mean, we are not taking into citizenship का तो बहुत ज़्यादा rules है, इतना rules detail में हम नहीं पढ़ रहे हैं. किसी को अगर if you want a better knowledge about it, you just Google it and understand citizenship के लिए क्या है, कितने countries में एक time में citizenship रख सकते हैं, सब आप लोग individually browse करके देख सकते हैं if you want more details. ठीक है? You have to, I mean, in economics and this context in the national income, you just have to understand. ये वैसे भी वहाँ पर नहीं आता है. Still, in the case of domestic income, we have said what we have said. जो residents जो है normal residents अपने boundary में in the territory they are earning, then that is domestic income. ये हमने पढ़ा है. That is why we have citizenship तो हमने कभी mention ही नहीं किया. Still, citizenship and residentship क्या है? Citizenship basically कैसे मिलता है? Place of birth of the person or some legal provision you can apply and you can get it. So two conditions. Residentship क्या है? Economic interest जिस country में है और for more than 1 year he resides also. That is why normal resident का हमने उसमें पढ़ा था, definition में पढ़ा था कि he normally resides in the country, sorry, not normally, ordinarily resides in the country and whose center of economic interest lies in the country. That is residentship. So a person can be a citizen of another country and resident in another country. Okay, so it means a person be a citizen of one country, he's a Japanese, maybe a Japanese citizen, and same time is a resident of India. So that is the big difference between citizenship and residentship citizenship is a legal concept and residentship is an economic concept. ये डोमेस्टिक टेरिटरी हमने पढ़ा है, डोमेस्टिक टेरिटरी उसमें हमने सबसे पहले डोमेस्टिक टेरिटरी में हमने मेंशन किया था, इट इज बेस्ड ऑन व्हाट, पॉलिटिकल बाउंड्री. व्हाट इज द बाउंड्री, अपने कंट्री का बाउंड्री क्या है, उसके अंदर जो होता है वो डोमेस्टिक टेरिटरी माना जाता है. ठीक है, डोमेस्टिक टेरिटरी. और उसमें हम बहुत सारे एक्सेप्शन भी देखा था, एम्बेसी और वो सब इंटरनेशनल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन देखा था, और शिप्स एंड वेसल्स का देखा था. इवन दो इट इज कैरिंग आउट, द ऑपरेशन इज कैरिड आउट इन द इंटरनेशनल एरिया, it is run by the residents of India, so it will be considered as domestic territory. ये सब हमने पढ़ा था. So if you go through the textbook, you can see the concept of domestic territory. Domestic product. Domestic product actually includes the production activity located in the economic territory. What is domestic product? Whatever productive activity which is carried out or located in the economic territory, वो जो boundary है, irrespective of the fact that it is carried out by the resident or non-resident. उसमें हम ये नहीं देखते कि resident ने किया है, non-resident ने किया है. Whatever economic activity undertaken in India, in that, no, I'm not saying India, located in the economic territory of a particular country, that will be counted in the domestic, that will be counted as carried out in the domestic territory. उसमें ये नहीं देखते हैं कि citizen ने किया है कि resident ने किया है. It can be carried out by the resident or non-resident. कोई भी करे, लेकिन अपने इकोनॉमिक टेरिटरी के अंदर जो भी प्रोडक्टिव एक्टिविटी हुआ उसको हम क्या करेंगे, that will be included in the domestic product. तो कल वाला एग्जाम्पल में तो हमने देखा था, और कोई आके जैसे कि गूगल आके इंडिया में कुछ किया तो इन इंडिया, सो तो डोमेस्टिक टेरिटरी में माना जाता है. ब्रांच ऑफ फॉरेन बैंक इन इंडिया हमने डोमेस्टिक टेरिटरी में ले लिया. कंपनी इन इंडिया ओन्ड बाय जापानीज हमने डोमेस्टिक टेरिटरी में ले लिया. दैट मीन्स सिटीजनशिप वहां पे जरूरी नहीं है, रेसिडेंट और नॉन रेसिडेंट देखो. इफ ही इज ए रेसिडेंट, आई मीन इकोनॉमिक टेरिटरी में जो कुछ भी होता है, अपने इकोनॉमिक बाउंड्री में जो कुछ भी होता है उसको डोमेस्टिक प्रोडक्ट में माना जाता है. फिर उसके बाद द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ नॉर्मल रेसिडेंट. नॉर्मल रेसिडेंट, अपना नॉर्मल रेसिडेंस हमने क्यों पढ़ा नॉर्मल रेसिडेंट, बिकॉज नॉर्मल रेसिडेंट आउटसाइड जाके जो कमाते हैं अपनी नॉर्मल रेसिडेंस. So the concept of normal resident help you to estimate the national product. What is national product? National product GDP से हमको मतलब NNP करना है तो what do you do? NFI ऐड करते हैं ना. From the domestic product, if you want to change it to national product, what do? You have to add NFI. So the concept of normal resident will help you to estimate the national product. What is national product? National product includes production activities of normal residents, irrespective of the fact whether performed within the economic territory or outside. Normal residents में अपनी country में normal residents है, अपनी country में normal residents है, और कहाँ पर भी economic मतलब activity करेगा, irrespective of the fact whether performed in the economic territory or outside. जो आउटसाइड में करेगा उसको भी नेशनल प्रोडक्ट में ऐड करते हैं. That will be counted in the national product. That is why we should know the concept of normal resident. So that is the theory behind that calculation. So domestic product includes, ये दोनों term याद रखना. Domestic product include productive activity of production, any production unit, any productive activity of any production unit located in the economic territory. अपनी economic territory में located है तो वो domestic territory में domestic product में आ जाएगा. In India, so yesterday we have seen in India, whether it be carried out by the resident or non-resident, that will be considered in the domestic product because it is carried out in India, in the domestic territory. Just understand, it is carried out in the domestic territory, it will be considered as the domestic product. Let it be conducted by resident or non-resident or anybody. When the productive activity is located in the economic territory, it will be counted in the domestic product. Let it be conducted by the resident, non-resident, anyone. Whenever the productive activity is conducted in the economic territory, that will be considered in the domestic product. Then, how will you change the domestic product to national product? National product includes production activities of normal residents, irrespective of fact whether performed within the economic territory or outside. Outside भी लेते हैं. That is why with DP, what is being added? NFIA is added. So जब हम outside का लेते हैं, national product include production activities of normal residents. अपने कंट्री का नॉर्मल रेसिडेंट्स जो भी है कहां पर भी कमाएं, अपने कंट्री का नॉर्मल रेसिडेंट्स उसको ऐड करते हैं NFIA के रूप में. That will then, I mean, in the shape of NFIA, it will be added. So domestic product become the national product. So the normal resident of the country, whatever they earn from economic territory or from outside, okay, that make दोनों मिला के national product होगा. So economic territory के अंदर जो है DP है, जो outside कमाते हैं वो NFIA के रूप में ऐड करते हैं. So that become national product. So that is the difference between DP and MP. That is domestic product and national product. So the concepts you have seen is what is citizenship, what is residentship, then why we study this, to understand what is domestic product and what national product, what is the change, what is the distinction between them. So that is with this concept, that is normal, resident, citizenship, residentship, and all. Next, you will see you might have heard these words very regularly, that factor income and transfer income. Factor income and transfer income. ये क्या है? What is factor income? Factor income तो आप लोग कई बार देख चुके हैं. What are the factor income? बोलो. Factor income क्या क्या है? What are the factors of production?
Land, labor, capital, enterprises,
entrepreneurship. So these are the factors of production, isn't it? So factor income means क्या है? It is the income received by the factors of production, nothing else. The income received by the factors of production is known as the factor income. ये तो हमने वहां पर पढ़ा था, सेपरल फ्लो में पढ़ा था factor income. So what is factor income? Factor income refers to income received by factors of production, that's all. And you know what are the factors of production? Income received by the factors of production for rendering factor services for the production process. You know, in the production process cannot be done without the factors of production. So for rendering the factor services in the productive process, what they earn, that is known as the factor income. So factor income is received by providing factor services. Factor income is received by providing factor services. What are the factor services? Land, labor, capital, and the price. Okay, so by providing these factor services, whatever you earn, that's known as the factor income. Factor income of the normal residents of the country is included in the national income. Any factor income earned by the normal residents of the country is included in the national income. मैंने ये नहीं कहा कि inside और outside. Normal residents जितना भी कमाते हैं, अपनी कंट्री का नॉर्मल रेजिडेंस है, इकोनॉमिक टेरिटरी के अंदर या बाहर जो भी फैक्टर इनकम अर्न करता है, दैट विल बी इंक्लूडेड इन द नेशनल इनकम. दैट मींस डोमेस्टिक प्रोडक्ट में वो भी ऐड करेंगे. व्हाट आर द एग्जांपल्स ऑफ फैक्टर इनकम? प्रियांशु, फैक्टरिंग का एग्जांपल्स बोलो. प्रियांशु चला गया. What are the factor income, Priyanshu? Okay. Anjali, what are the factor income? Factor income का examples बोलो. Factors of production तुमको मालूम है, land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. So what are the factor income? Anybody who know the answer can speak.
rent, wages,
Ma'am,
interest,
rent, wages, interest, and profit.
Please speak. Please speak. Okay, examples of factor income are rent, wages, interest, and profit. What is rent? That's the income for land. That's the factor income for land. What is wages? That's the factor income for labor. What is interest? That's a factor income for capital, interest on capital. What is profit? That's the return for entrepreneurship. So rent, wages, interest, and profit are the factor income. They are received for the factors of production. So factor income बोलते हैं यही है. Okay. So factors of production, you know, they are the inputs: land, labor, capital, and organization. Whatever income they receive by providing the factors of production, that's known as the factor income. So don't get confused with factor income and transfer income. Factor income to A. Then what is transfer income? Transfer income is the income which is received without rendering any productive service in return. रिटर्न में कोई सर्विस नहीं देंगे. दूसरा देखो, अपना रिटर्न है, लैंड का रिटर्न है, लेबर का रिटर्न है, कैपिटल का रिटर्न है, एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप का रिटर्न, rent, wages, interest, and profit. So this comes in the form of a return. But transfer income received without rendering any service, rendering any particular service, any productive service, without rendering any productive service, whatever, it is a unilateral concept, one-sided. कोई देता है without rendering any productive service. That is known as transfer income. That's why it is not included in the national income. It's a unilateral concept. So a unilateral concept means one-sided. लेकिन फैक्टर इनकम तो डबल साइडेड है. मतलब लैंड देते हैं तो रेंट मिलता है, लेबर के लिए वेजेस मिलता है, कैपिटल के लिए इंटरेस्ट मिलता है, एंड एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप के लिए प्रॉफिट मिलता है. सो दैट इज वन साइडेड नहीं है. वो प्रोडक्टिव सर्विस भी देते हैं, वो वन साइडेड नहीं है, यूनिलैटरल नहीं है. बट ट्रांसफर इनकम रिसीव विदाउट रेंडरिंग एनी प्रोडक्टिव सर्विस. इट्स अ यूनिलैटरल कॉन्सेप्ट. That's why it is not included in the national income. But factor income is the main thing in the national income. It is included in the national income. But transfer income is not included in the national income because it is not the outcome of any productive goods and services. It is not reflected by any productive goods and services. There is no rendering of any productive service. That is not included. Okay, and it can be received either within the domestic territory or country from abroad. Abroad से gift मिलता है, abroad से और कुछ allowance मिलता है. It is received from any country. It is not included in the national income. Transfer income can be from abroad, can be from the government of India or from anyone, any charity. Okay, so examples are old age pension, scholarship, unemployment allowances, pocket money. Okay, so all these are the transfer income. It is not, without rendering any productive service, we are getting it one-sided. उसके बदले में कुछ नहीं देते. So that is known as the transfer income. It is taxes also like that. Taxes received by the government is also transfer income. हमसे टैक्स लेते हैं, okay, गवर्नमेंट बहुत सारे सर्विसेज हमको देते हैं on the basis of that tax, but there is no direct. It is given to all. उसके लिए डायरेक्ट नहीं देते. So taxes by the government are also the transfer income of the government because they do not provide any direct productive services in return to that tax. Tax भी वही है और subsidy भी वही है, but subsidy is known as the tax transfer payment because government gives to us. So for the government it's a transfer payment. Taxes we give, that is a transfer income. गवर्नमेंट के लिए वो taxes we give, transfer income. Okay, so transfer tax के लिए अभी मैंने tax, suppose I am paying 10,000 rupees tax, उसके लिए मेरे को बराबर उसका return productive service नहीं मिलता है. Government will accumulate this and they will use this for government expenditure. That is something else, but उसके लिए productive service direct नहीं मिलता है. So that is also a transfer income, and subsidy is also there. It is also, but we call it as a transfer payment because it is paid by the government. हमको मिलता है. That's why transfer payment. So that is the difference between factor income and transfer income. ये सब terms मैं इसलिए पढ़ा रही हूँ कि जब वो सब term आता है, don't get confused. Both are different. Factor income तो sum and substance, अपना solid चीज है. Rent, wages, interest, and profit, which is returned to the factors of production. Transfer income, without giving any direct productive services, whatever you are getting one-sided, one-sided है उसको बोलते हैं transfer income. It is not at all included in the national income. ठीक है? And you can differentiate factor income and transfer income. How will you differentiate? Income received from the factors of production is known as factor income. Income received without rendering any productive service is known as transfer income. I repeat, income received by the factors of production for rendering service, for rendering factor service, that's known as factor income. What is transfer income? Income received without rendering any productive service is known as complete. Without rendering any productive service is known as
Transfer income.
transfer income. Then, what is the nature? Factor income is it included in the national income? Factor income national income में include होता है क्या?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, it is included both in the national income and domestic income. But transfer income is not included neither in the national income or domestic income. कभी नहीं include होता है. ये तो एक जगह से दूसरे जगह पर transfer होता है unilaterally. It's not included in the national income or domestic income. Then another difference is one is an earning concept and the other one is a receipt concept. What is earning concept? हम कुछ करके मतलब लैंड देके उसके लिए रेंट अर्न कर रहे हैं, लेबर देके उसके लिए वेजेस अर्न कर रहे हैं, कैपिटल देके उसमें इंटरेस्ट अर्न कर रहे हैं. Entrepreneurship, you provide your entrepreneurship, you will get profit. So there is an earning concept. Earning or receiving तो अपन अभी पॉकेट मनी अपने पेरेंट्स से रिसीव कर रहे हैं, that's not earning. Okay, that's a receiving concept. Just like that, the transfer income also. Without giving anything in return, you get something. That is your receiving concept. But your earning means we're providing some service, we're doing something. Okay, when we work hard or get something, that's an earning concept. So here also give the service and you get something in return, that's an earning concept. But the transfer income is a receiving concept. It's a receiving concept. Is it clear? One is an earning concept, the other one is receiving concept. Is it clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Then another difference is this factor income is received for the factors of production like land, labor, capital, enterprise. वो लिख सकते हैं तुम. Then it is generally received by the household and government. What is generally received by the household and the government? Transfer receipts are generally received by the household and government. ये and government क्यों बोला है यहाँ पर? Government हमसे tax लेते हैं ना? That's also a transfer payment. So transfer income is generally received by the household and government. Household क्या receive? उसका main क्या होगा? Subsidies. So it is transfer income are generally received by the household and government. But factor income is generally received by the factors of production. जो भी factors of production देंगे उनको मिलता है. But transfer income is generally received by the household and government. Household को subsidy मिलेगा, scholarship मिलेगा, allowances मिलेगा, old age pension मिलेगा. Government को तो tax मिलेगा. So it is normally received by household and government. That is one difference. According to the basis भी देख लेना. Basis is written in the textbook on which basis it is. On the receipt basis, recipient basis. Recipient basis means कौन किसको मिल रहा है. Factor income किसको मिल रहा है? Those who provide the factors of production. Transfer income किसको मिल रहा है? To the household and the government. Then example लिख सकते हैं कि factor income के लिए what example you will give? Rent. उसके लिए example तो classic है. Rent, wages, interest and profit. Transfer income के लिए example क्या है? Scholarship हो गया, old age pension हो गया, unemployment allowances हो गया. ये सब क्या है? Examples of transfer income. So that's the difference between factor income and transfer income. I hope now it is clear to you. The difference between factor income and transfer income. Factor income is a receipt on all these factors of production. The other one is a unilateral thing. One is an earning concept and the other one is a receipt concept. And the recipient of factor income are those who provide the factor. So you can say factors of productions are the recipient. Factors of production like land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship is the recipient in the case of factor income. The other case, household and the government. और एग्जाम्पल भी दे देना. So you will get some 4 or 5 differences. Understand the logic. What's the difference between transfer income and factor income? Is it clear to you?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
फिर हमने फाइनल गुड्स एंड इंटरमीडिएट गुड्स तो पहले पढ़ चुके हैं. व्हाट इज फाइनल गुड्स एंड इंटरमीडिएट गुड्स आप लोगों ने देखा है. फाइनल गुड्स फाइनल कंजम्पशन के लिए, इंटरमीडिएट गुड्स उसको रीसेल के लिए, नहीं तो उसको फर्दरिंग के लिए, उसको फर्दर करने के लिए, और मीन्स कुछ मॉडिफिकेशन के लिए मिल्क लेके उसको चीज बना के बेच रहे हैं ऐसे करके. और दैट इज एक्चुअली द डिफरेंस बिटवीन फाइनल गुड्स एंड इंटरमीडिएट गुड्स दैट यू हैव ऑलरेडी सीन. Then intermediate goods and final goods differences, consumption goods and capital goods आप लोग पढ़ चुके हैं. Consumption goods and capital goods, consumption goods is for consumption purpose and capital goods for further production. Okay, वो भी पढ़ चुके हैं. Then gross investment and net investment पढ़ चुके हैं. Gross investment include depreciation and net investment exclude depreciation. All those things you have seen. And what is NFIA? NFIA, that is factor income received from abroad minus factor income produced paid abroad. So all those things, you just go through that. Once again, even though you have studied in the first assessment, difference between consumption goods, capital goods, ये सब first assessment में आप लोग पढ़ चुके हैं. Still, वो सब एक बार और देख लेना, because this chapter gives you a lot of information. Okay. और उसमें एक चीज और आप लोग को दिखेगा, कैपिटल ट्रांसफर एंड करंट ट्रांसफर. करंट ट्रांसफर एंड कैपिटल ट्रांसफर, व्हाट आर द टर्म्स? मैंने क्या क्या टर्म्स बोला? व्हाट आर द टर्म्स? करंट ट्रांसफर एंड कैपिटल ट्रांसफर. ठीक है, this is not directly related to our topic. Okay, still somewhere you will hear this word, current transfer and capital transfer. So you must know, that's all. What is current transfer? Current transfer is transfer from the income. From the income some transfer is made, that is known as the current transfer. Capital transfer is made from the wealth. वही अपन जो करंट अकाउंट कैपिटल अकाउंट का वो देखते हैं ना कि एक अकाउंट्स में, वही सिमिलर कॉन्सेप्ट है यहाँ पर. व्हेन इट इज मेड बाय द इनकम, ट्रांसफर इज मेड बाय द इनकम, दैट इज नोन एज करंट ट्रांसफर. क्योंकि हम ट्रांसफर इनकम पढ़ रहे हैं. जब कैपिटल से, अपने एक्यूमुलेटेड वेल्थ से जब कर रहे हैं, दैट इज कैपिटल ट्रांसफर. ए बैलेंस शीट को भी, व्हाट इज बैलेंस शीट? Balance sheet shows your financial position at a particular period of time. Financial position on 31st March 2020. So at a point of time it shows the financial position. A capital transfer जो है अपने financial position को affect करता है, that is transfer of ownership रहता है current transfer. Sorry, capital transfer. Capital transfer, in capital transfer what happens? Capital of ownership of a fixed asset. Transfer of ownership of a fixed asset or a permanent asset take place in capital transfer. Current transfer में क्या होता है? Current transfer में transfer of income. Income and wealth are two different concepts. Okay, so the capital transfers are made for the acquisition of an asset. Permanent asset acquisition करने के लिए हमने दे दिया, investment purpose के लिए दे दिया. और ऐसे भी हो सकता है कोई आपका पास डेट है, उसको फॉरगिव कर लिया. पास डेट था, दैट इज बैलेंस शीट में लायबिलिटी फॉर्म में लिखा हुआ था, इतना बैंक लोन 2 लाख रुपीस का बैंक लोन, और उसका माफ कर दिया. इसका मतलब फॉरगिवनेस ऑफ डेट बोलते हैं उसको. वो भी अपन कैपिटल ट्रांसफर में लेते हैं, बिकॉज दैट अफेक्ट योर फाइनेंशियल पोजीशन. बैलेंस शीट को भी अफेक्ट करता है, तुम्हारा लायबिलिटी उतना खत्म हो गया. दैट मीन्स now you are in a better position, financial position is good. So capital transfer and current transfer, what you should understand, current transfer is made from the income, whereas capital transfer is made from the wealth of the payer. जो भी पे करते हैं उनकी wealth से होता है. एक तो income से होता है, one is regular in nature, The other one is not that frequent in nature. Capital transfer इतना frequent नहीं रहता. ठीक है? For examples, when you hear the example, it will be more clear. Like old age pension. Old age pension तो हर महीने मिलेगा. अगर pension को हर महीने और regularly मिलेगा. So that is a current transfer. But capital transfer हमेशा नहीं मिलता. अगर एक investment के लिए मिलता है, so that is a capital transfer. एक permanent asset acquire करने के लिए मिलता है, that is capital transfer. आपका एक agricultural loan lakhs rupees का उसको माफी कर दिया, वो भी capital transfer है. That affect your wealth. Okay, such kind of transfer is known as capital transfer. So capital transfers are made for capital formation. What is capital formation? What is capital formation? Can anyone say? Capital formation क्या है? कौन सा wider term है? Capital transfer wider term है कि current transfer wider term है? Or so which one is the wider term?
Capital transfer.
Capital transfer is the wider term because one affect the wealth, the other affect the income. And which affect capital formation? Which particular transfer affect capital formation? Current transfer affect करता है कि capital transfer?
Capital transfer.
Okay. अभी capital formation का मतलब क्या है? आप लोग हमेशा we people use the word capital formation. What is that?
Introduction of capital in the business.
Yes, it is a capital accumulation, wealth accumulation. Capital goods, हम लोगों ने production कर दिया, equipments, tool, transport, ये सब बढ़ा दिया. That is known as capital formation. Increasing the stock of goods or real capital in the country. Okay, machines हो गया, tools हो गया, production हो गया. So that affect the wealth of the nation. So whatever affect the wealth of the nation is known as the capital formation. So this capital transfer affect the wealth. Current transfers are used for consumption purpose. Current transfer किसके लिए देते हैं? Consumption purpose के लिए देते हैं. Old age pension उसको capital formation के लिए नहीं दे. Old age pension कंजम्पशन के लिए दे, उनके लाइवलीहुड में उनको जो भी जरूरत है उसके कंजम्पशन के लिए देते हैं करंट ट्रांसफर. बट कैपिटल ट्रांसफर क्यों देते हैं? जो दे रहे हैं, अगर गवर्नमेंट दे रहे हैं तो कैपिटल ट्रांसफर क्यों दे रहे हैं? कैपिटल फॉर्मेशन ऑफ द कंट्री. चलो इन्वेस्टमेंट करो, कोई बिजनेस स्टार्ट करो, और द कैपिटल फॉर्मेशन ऑफ द कंट्री कैपिटल ट्रांसफर्स आर गिवन. So one is given for consumption, and the other is given for capital formation. That's why initially we have said one is related to the income and the other is related to the wealth. Okay, income and wealth both are different concepts. You know, one is like income and wealth, which is more wider wealth. So one affect the wealth, capital formation. When you do capital formation, more and wealth accumulation will happen. So that is, you just go through that, just understand which is the wider term. Current transfer and capital transfer is the current term which affect the wealth of the nation, which affect the capital formation, but current transfers are given only for the consumption purpose. Example, old age pension, some allowances, etc. That's all. Okay, Siddharth, thank you for reminding me. I didn't. Give me a minute.